It is August 26th, and we just left Ladysmith. Our goal is to get to Nanaimo today, and we have to go through a spot called Dodd Narrows, which runs pretty quick. I think 6, 7, 8 knots at max flood and ebb. So we want to hit it at slack, which is at 1:31 p.m. and it's 11:30, so we've been going for about an hour, and our plan is to get there by 1:30 or a little earlier. It'll be going with us if we're a little bit earlier. I think you can hit it half an hour on either side. So this is the first time we're using the boat since the big refit we just did down at Blackline Marine. It was about 4 weeks that we were down there with the boat, and the basic components or the basic parts of the job were 2 new roller furlers on the front, all new standing rigging for the entire boat, and brand new bowsprit. There's a lot of other little things, or a few other little things that we did as well to sort of improve the use of the boat. I'll show you guys all that on the trip. Devlin's here holding the camera. She was evacuated from Yellowknife. Probably you may or may not have heard, but there's a massive fire approaching the city, and the whole city was evacuated. So my daughter was evacuated with her boyfriend Devlin, so she came down early, and now we're on our trip. So excited, day 1. Nanaimo. A lot of boats on anchor, a lot on moorings, and then there's the park moorings. There's a dock here, so you can pay for the moorings or the dock space through the parks. And we did almost 19 miles to get here, and we're anchored in 35 feet of water, probably a muddy bottom. Anchor set really well, and we realized when we left the dock how dirty the bottom of the dinghy is, so we're going to shore with a couple scrapers. Take the motor off, flip it over, scrape it, come back. That's the plan. Beautiful day though. The wind is quite warm, coming out of the northwest, and usually that's a cooler wind, but it's pretty warm. You can see the bottom got a little dirty. And these scrapers just take it all right off. Pretty easy. Make us go way faster. So we have 2 scrapers, and everything's on the beach. And we'll scrape this, and then we'll go back. Oh, and then we're gonna go park the dinghy at the dock and see if there's ice cream on the island.
So I guess it's time to help scrape.
So when I said let's go on a nice romantic trip to Desolation Sound, is this what you had in mind?
Scraping the bottom of the dinghy? Absolutely.
Oh, so you don't mind this?
No.
Oh, good.
Anywhere with you.
We're having fun.
It's not a toothbrush.
No, it's a scraper. It's a step up.
So much growth on the bottom.
Yeah, it comes off pretty easy though.
Yeah.
End of the day in Nanaimo, and we got here this afternoon, took the dinghy to shore, flipped it, cleaned it, and it was pretty dirty. Then we wandered up to the store on Newcastle Island. Devlin always carries cash, luckily, so we got ice cream, so that was good. Then we came back to the boat and just relaxed and almost snoozed for a bit, and met someone that follows us, and really nice gentleman, and talked to some other people that were asking what we're filming, so I told them about the channel, and then just dealing with this sailboat that's almost gonna hit us, so we better go deal with it. Anyways, we'll see what happens tomorrow.
We're off to Tribune Bay this morning. Winds are variable, and we have about 36 miles to go. And so we're getting not a super early start, but we're not going to go to shore today. This morning before we go, no ice cream, but maybe ice cream later today, if not definitely later in the trip. And yeah, it's still a bit hazy over Nanaimo, but we should have a good day. And it's supposed to be sunny.
Yeah, and 29 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, feel like 26, feel like 29. So we'll see what that means for out in some winds. The winds will be welcome.
Yeah, we're all set up for sailing, but yeah. We'll see what happens if the winds are variable today. That usually means light in multiple directions.
Light in multiple directions, but covers are off. We're ready to go.
Just in case. Where are we?
Oh, we're in Tribune Bay. We're on the beach. We're gonna go find blackberries and get our steps in. Do a little bit of a walk.
Yeah, I see lots of berries. Yeah.
I don't know if this is someone's private property.
Well, we could go a little to the right.
Yeah.
Anyways, a lot of bugs on the beach, though.
A lot of bugs on the beach. Maybe we'll walk around some sandy parts after.
Yeah. And just
This
looking
is awesome.
back, this is,
Indy 5 is amazing.
yeah, Tribune Bay. So what have you found?
Amazing blackberries.
It looks like there's so many.
There's so many. I mean, I guess I would have been smart to bring a pole or
Oh, the boat hook.
a boat hook or a hanger or something because, you know, I don't want to fall on them. But thank you, May, for telling us about them so that we could go bring a container.
Yeah, and I guess I better start picking.
You don't have to, but then
Well,
there may be treats.
I better start picking. Well, we're back at the boat after success on the beach with a walk and berry picking, and we even found ice cream at the snack shack. So that was fun. I'll show you guys what we did for the 4-week refit we just were recently on, and give you guys a better idea of some of the little things that were upgraded. Well, I'll start at the bow of the boat. So we upgraded our furlers for both sails. So we have the stay sail furler, and it's a Harken Mark IV Unit 1, and then there's the Yankee furler up there, which is a Harken Mark IV Unit 2. So it's a bit larger than the Unit 1. Of course, the stays were replaced. The luff tape on the furlers was a number 7 for the old furlers, and so I had to send the sails back to North Sails and get number 6 put in. So that was done on a rush, but we got it done. I took all these boards off, stripped them and oiled them while we were replacing the bowsprit. One of the things I changed, or had changed, for the furlers is the furling lines. They used to be on a little double block system that was tied on to each stanchion just below this plate here, and they sat out about here. So all the way down, you bumped your ankles on them and they flopped around, and they just weren't very nice and tidy. So Blackline welded these guides on the outside, if you can see that, and that's on every stanchion going down. So now it's super neat and tidy and pretty slick. So it goes all the way down, and the reason I'm showing you all of them is because I'll show you what we did at the end. So they used to go through this little setup I had, which was a bit goofy, couple blocks, and they just went through there and then went to these, I call them jam cleats, and that's all I had. So now we have a double clutch right on the top cap. We have a much larger block here with two-sized round round parts, pulleys on it, and everything's epoxy sealed, all the bolts, or all the threads, everything, of course, for the screws, and they go 3 inches down, so that's not going anywhere. I kept these on here because they're here anyways, and you can use these just as a second, but these this clutch here is the main thing holding the furling lines. But everything's super neat and tidy now. All the standing rigging was replaced. I mean, I'm not going to show you all of it, but you can see there's quite a bit of it on this boat, because we have 1 and 2 masts. So we don't have a connecting wire that goes from the main mast to the mizzen. So that's good for us. We'd rather have them separate, and that's how the boat is set up. Anyways, but they were able to use the old turnbuckles, which was nice. That was the only thing they could reuse, and they're in good shape. So, but everything else was done brand new. And here is the bowsprit, brand new, made of sapele mahogany, laminated and horizontal layers. We used the old bowsprit as a template, and had the whole new one built. It has 3 layers of epoxy sealant, barrier coat, and then I think 2 or 3 layers of the top coat for the white paint. We didn't want to have the wood for varnish look. It's mahogany. Plus, we wanted the white bowsprit again. And if we go a little closer, you can see the bobstay is new. They beefed it up to a larger one. Whisker stays on both sides are new. And under here we have a guard, and it used to be one piece here, but it was catching all the water underneath, so we made up 3 separate pieces, so there's no chance of water getting under there, and all sealed up. I'm not sure how well you can see that. And on this side, to accommodate the anchor, we had this opened up here, and we have a roller in the front that just the top of the shank for the anchor rests on this, so we were able to put the large roller back on, because we just had a little tiny plastic thing that was falling apart. And now the roller, the chain goes up and down so much nicer. And then if I go to the front again a little bit, I'll get on the other side. Here's the Krantz iron. That's this collar. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but there's another little raised section there. It goes all the way around. That's a fiberglass plate that's on the whole Krantz iron sits against the plate, so that this edge here, which isn't a big surface area, doesn't dig into the wood. It ends up trying to go back this way. It ends up sitting against the plate instead of the wood, and it gives it just a much larger surface area for the Krantz iron to rest against the sprit. And then we got the old star off the old sprit, of course. Well, hello from the future. The reason I'm filming this and putting it in the episode is because I forgot to show you guys a couple things that was done on the refit. And I also thought, since I'm back at the marina now, I could show you how our anchor sits in that modified opening and make a little more sense if you can see the anchor in place there. And once I've shown you all that, then we'll get back to current time. So here's a look at the anchor assembly for our main anchor, and you can see how that modification to the opening lets the Bruce anchor sit in place there, with the top part resting on that roller. And by opening up that space a bit, it makes a big difference. Now the only downside about these two large metal rollers, I think they're made of bronze, is that they squeak if they're not greased. And Blackline, not sure if you can see it there, but they've installed a grease nipple on each roller so that you can apply grease when you need to. And that's on both rollers. One of the other changes we made was the ability to free up our winches for the head sails. This is the halyard for the Yankee, and this is the halyard for the staysail. And by adding these two clutches, we're now able to free up the winches. And finally, the last thing we did was we now have the halyard for the staysail in the mast. It used to be external, so it goes in the mast right here, and it comes out, you won't be able to see it, but right at the top of the stay for the staysail. Well, it's the end of the day here in Tribune Bay. Good holding here. It's probably sand, maybe a little bit of mud mixed in with it, but super shallow. Like, we're a long ways from the shore and we're only in 27 feet. We're gonna have an early night because tomorrow we've got about 46 miles to go to get to Desolation Sound Marine Park. So that's it for today. We're gonna have a early night, like I said, and get an early start on tomorrow.